UK and Canada share many things, including the legal system, some history also. And it is good to know what developments are happening in the United Kingdom. So the experience of Muslim community there has been very pleasant and very fruitful. As soon as because the Muslim community is traditionally, or all the Asians there are traditionally thought to be or supporting the Labour government. And before Labour government came into power, there was a concentrated effort to put the religious question into the population census. That was the first achievement of the Muslim community. So the population census form had the religious box to tick or not to tick if they didn't want to. So by including the religion in the census, it became a public knowledge that who are and what numbers are the followers of each community and groups. So it was not just the religious, but the racial groups were also identified. And as we know that information is power, knowledge is power. So equipped with this powerful tool of knowledge and information through authoritative source as good as the census, it was easy to argue the case that the sizable community or demography of any country should be represented at each and every level of the government and community services and the financial services including. And Alhamdulillah, those efforts bore fruit, that by the lobbying through the ruling party and by arguing for the financial inclusion case, that if the faith-based financial amendments or financial accommodation is not done, then a sizable population of the country will become excluded from the financial services, and it will hold back the overall development of any society. So first of all, there was a political activism equipped with the information and demographic knowledge, and then lobbying, and overall the Bank of England's governor somehow, Eddie George, he told the story many times that one of his neighbors, when they signed the conventional mortgage, they were not very happy. Instead of celebrating it, they looked very sad. So he found out and he learned that because the interest was prohibited and they had to buy a home and they had to sign this agreement. So then Eddie George observed that if it is a requirement, cultural or social or religious or faith-based requirement of any community, the financial sector, the banking sector or the services sector should be able to offer that if there is a sizable demand and sizable requirement. And based on his own personal experience, when Eddie George became Bank of England's governor, and of course with other factors, political factors and international circumstances, liquidity factor as it has been said, all factors together worked, and there was a 7-member committee made in the Bank of England to examine the needs and how to embark on the financial reform. One lawyer, one industry practitioner, one treasury representative and one community representative. They all sat together and charted the roadmap for Islamic, what amendments are needed, what services are needed, and how to deliver them. Based on their recommendations and through the good offices of Bank of England's governor's offices, it was presented through the Parliament, and the first amendment to the Financial Services Act was done in 2005. And beginning from 2005, every year, one or two amendments were made, and this reflected at the core of the British government that the financial inclusion policy is to be inactivated, and coupled with one factor I think which I should mention, that after 9/11 incident, there was a flight of capital away from North America to Europe and other places. And that was also a very major factor that to accommodate the capital flight from certain geographical area to Europe, it was a prerequisite that there should be Sharia-friendly environment, legal, practical, and otherwise. So even in Switzerland, which is the very known country for this type of things, asset managers, fund managers, they are also still now accommodating the Sharia requirements in their practices, because lots of private banking and high net worth individual funds are recycled or managed through the Swiss banking system. And UK wanted to be the hub and gateway for Islamic finance. And our current Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, he was a finance minister at that time. And it fell on really very well with him, and he was personally very favorable. So coupled with the Bank of England's governor and the finance ministry, then all the other departments came through the efforts. So what I can say that really it is the circumstances, political activism, and the financial community's sympathetic considerations, and of course the demand on the ground. So for instance, Lloyds Bank and other big HSBC banks, when they start a service, they cannot do it on a whims without concrete proof. So on the concrete proof of the survey based on the solid demand and the size of the market by Data Monitor Company and other companies, the services were allowed. And with the concentrated effort of 2 years, I think year 2002, 2003, eventually in 2004, the first Islamic banking license was given, retail banking, to Islamic Bank of Britain, with lots of financial expenditure and lots of efforts. So, I can say that it has to be, all the jigsaw puzzle has to be fit. So all the elements of the society and at all level have to do their work and their job to push the agenda, and hopefully, and Allah, God willing, inshallah, it will come here also in Canada. Thank you.